So, Mitch and Ryan, you were just in my office. Coming over to bring me a nice little basket for Christmas, and thank you very much. What you're looking at right here is just half of my screen, because if I show the whole screen and then you play it back on a regular screen, that big wide screen is tiny on yours. So I just want to show you, kind of explain what's going on before I get really into it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oops, not in it. Let me click on it now. I get my menus. This is going to suddenly create a 3D image, and it's going to put it on the whole screen as well. And then I'm going to drag it to 1/2. And that way I can switch back and forth between halves of my screen. And you'll be able to follow along much better. So I'm going to bring this divider over. Now, what I see on this side is what you're seeing. And I can switch to the other side. We can go on inside. And I guess what I'm kind of looking for is the feedback on what you guys see in the viewer as I save things compared to what I see in this program. And so I kind of showed you when I'm here, if I turn on the light set, which turns on all the lights that I've installed in this house, like here, when I go to the light set, it just gets washed out. Now, I can I can switch sometimes. Let me try it. Let's see how this works. So I'm going to toggle the sun off. The sun move tool. Toggle the sun off. And sometimes I can get some lighting correction by making it nighttime. I'm not seeing that. So if it won't do it for us, sometimes I can get it better by turning the light set back and then on again. No, it's still washed out. So in order to make this really appear decently, we just can't use the light set, which means all the lights are going to be turned off. So if you've got questions out to Josh and about colors, types of wood, that sort of thing, to Josh and Corinne. And then, so I've got white paint next to wood, just so they have some comparison and stuff. And these are the door styles they're after. I don't know anything about their personal furnishings, so I just kind of try to use up the space a bit to give it that lived-in look and help them plan out how things are. Now, these lights up here in the ceiling, they turn on. How do you like that? I do have it set as night outside, so you'll see some lights on and some lights just won't light up. Like I think the ones on the stairs don't turn on without a light set. Yeah, they don't. So Josh, one of these is full-time on. Those, there are 5 lights there. Just a low volt, always on type deal. And then these lights in here, the idea is to have small, not very big. Like these are, I think, 6-inch bits, but he wants something more like an art light. So maybe even 2-inch that just points at each shelf. So that's why there's 4 here. And that's 45 degrees off there. This one's 45 degrees off there. And that's how I placed them. This one should have 5 because there's an extra shelf in here because I didn't have the stairway in the way. So I got 5 lights on this side. And one of the things that's quirky about this is that in order to reduce the terrain, I clipped it. When I did so, the automatic hole made by the house disappeared. So if you look up, you can't see the grass. But if you get above it and you look down, you can. If you get right about in line with it, see this stripe right through there? That is the grass. It's a paper thin layer. So don't worry about that for now. I'll get it corrected when I put it back on the full lot, but it makes this whole model move slower. So they want it open under the stairs. So I changed that, put a post in. These are CO2 detectors. The electrical plan is not done, but this is the electrical plan set. Of course, this is called the camera view layer set. So there should be more information than just what we see as a camera. So I've got the drywall. Then that wood that you're seeing there, remember that it doesn't show each stud in this fashion, only in the 3D framing plan. So that is the fur layer before the foam layer, and then the framing layer. It looks like I have an extra one, and there was one wall that I was getting some extra blue on. So let me try another wall so we can get a better result. Because it should be drywall, furring, airspace, foam, which is the Nudura system, the concrete, the foam, and then the ceiling layer on the outside. And then we should be outside, not into another piece of concrete. So, oh, this is where I just went through right where the fireplace is. So this fireplace can be a gas fireplace, and I won't need a full footing for it, so that'll all get corrected. The stone, we're looking at using a real stone with a bit of thin veneer. And then this is Hardy, and it is one of their pre-painted colors. I do have that written down. The only room that I've properly painted so far is the kitchen, and it includes some of the details they want, which this is a fluted panel, and it has gone away. I'm not sure why. I'll try and get it back for better future renditions, but looks like even down here at the other end, yeah, it's gone there too. These were fluted end panels. So if you don't see those, know they're there for sure, but as we get closer to final, let's make sure that I do my best to see if I can get that done too. This is the only one that's not 3 feet off the ground. Instead, it's just more than that because the counters are 3 feet. And the window kept us from putting a backsplash here. And then here, we used a subway tile for these walls here. Then in this room, this is the dining room. So put in a dining table. This is their living room. And so there won't be a table in here. I just put it in here for now because it does fit in this room and I wanted to be able to show them both configurations. And then this is a bench seat. And questions out to them right now about putting doors on this, cabinet doors, or putting seams in the leather so I can flip. Excuse me, got a yawn there. Flip up for storage. Now, I was having some issues. You may see it in another model of some stuff getting stuck up here in the window. And what I'm going to do right now is I did a save as. It's called a backup file. And so what I do is I go to here, File, and I back up entire plan. And then you'll see this. It says back up the plan and zip it. Now, if I put in all the reference files, then you're not going to be missing materials. Some stuff, like the lights I made on the stairway, they won't show up unless I pack it for you. So the file that's in and stowed away is just that. You have to unzip it. But I'm sure you guys know how to at least unzip files, and if you don't, feel free to give me a call. So here it is. Oh, that's not it. See it. Oh, I just saw it. There it is. Backup. So, done today. That's the 20th. This is the 22nd, so I don't know where it went to. Let me check. I'll just do it again, and let's figure out where it exported to. So, backup entire plan. Okay. And it's weird that I don't see it here. So, I just can't tell you where I accidentally sent it to. Maybe I didn't follow through. Probably didn't follow through. So let's just go to where it is. So here, projects, PEC, CA version 8. Actually, I'm not even going to dump it that deep because I'm going to be changing this one out all the time. So this will be PEC C8, which is concept 8. MEP. I'm going to call it partial because I'm not done. But kind of let's look for some feedback at this time. So I'm going to save that. Now it's doing its thing, packing it all up. And then I'm going to exchange out. What you guys will see is you go into the folder and you'll see there's the PDFs created on 12/15. So those have been updated probably slightly. And then I'm going to just leave this one here for now. But this will be the latest version. So it says it's done. So let's go ahead and open that location so that I can just drag and drop. So, didn't open that location. So there it is, the zip right there. So now I need to open up my browser with my Dropbox in it. And we'll just take this backup zip and I will put it in here too. And as you can see, it's uploading. And when it's done, you'll have that latest and greatest version. And that still says 20. I just don't understand. Let me refresh this. Huh. Oh. No, that should be right. Well, where's it going to? Just having a little bit of trouble. So I'm going to pause, figure this out, and make sure I get it in the folder. All right, got it to work. So it's this one here, the PEC C8 MEP partial. So let's run a little something else just to show you what I need you guys to tell me if it's not showing up for you. So if there's something you want to see, such as here on this plan, I can easily swap layer sets. And so it's right now set on the electrical layer set. So if I go to, let's say, the working set, then the electrical is still showing, but a lot of times it's in my way. So I'll come to this thing, and I may do something such as turn off, that's CAD electrical, sorry. Turn off the electrical and the connections, and poof, it's gone. And if I save it in this state, so now I'm going to do that file backup thing again. Back up the entire plan. And then I'm going to say okay. But this time, we're going to name it. You can see this one's in there. It won't show up in the other program. But this is going to be the same name, basically. It's just going to be C8. And I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to put no MEP. So with that layer turned off, what happens at your end? This is what I'm curious to know. So I'm packing that, and there will be one in there called no MEP that I'd like some feedback on to understand the difference of what you guys see at your end. And if there's any problems, any of that, feel free to give me a call. Even Christmas Eve up until probably about 4. Not Christmas Day, please. I won't be available. So there they are, done. Now let's go back here again See, it's still just not, when I hit refresh, nothing new showing up. I just can't even tell you. Oh, I'm in must eject. I'm in the backup. Jeez, it's my own fault. Wasn't in the real, wasn't in the real McCoy. So these are my actual projects. So, back residence, CA. There we go. No MEP and the MEP partial. This is just a column I use for the model. And it may go in different versions. So that's all that's there for. I'm going to take this now, put it in here. You don't need to watch it download again. So I'm just going to put this in here. It'll be that no MEP version, and appreciate some feedback on how that works out for you guys. And I guess we can just kind of a little more what we're doing in this house. Switch screens here. All right, so out front, there's going to be some quirkiness with the materials list. Oh, I want to save that. I'm going to save the materials list as it is so you can kind of get an idea of what to expect. Although, I don't know if Mitch, you got to see the one for the pole, well, the pole barn wasn't much. But this one's coming along, and there should be a lot of electrical detail. I'm hoping that the comments and stuff will all show up for you. So here, this is actually a solid. So I'm going to remove that from the materials list. So the arches on the front porch, and this will be an arch and then a stacked, tapered up, kind of like a set of chamfers or something. I haven't designed how this looks yet, but it's going to be about that shape with an arch to match this arch. And then there'll be arches all around the porch. So they're pink right now to make them stand out, and then I'll paint them later. In here, there are 2 window choices, and they have decided they wish to go with a larger window. Now, one thing I can tell you is that Josh was thinking that this would not go into and die into that roof. I love the valley. I know the snow. I know the ice damming that occurs around here. And I just don't want it to be against a small cricket instead of having a full ride valley. So this last piece here does have a return on it to give it a nice look from what I was explaining to Josh is that this is where you're going to see it from. And so it looks pretty good from down here. And, even driving up, the other piece is mostly in the way. You're not going to have a real great vantage point on the fact that ties back into the main roof. So they do want those larger windows over the smaller ones, so I got to get all those changed out. To make this roof work and not interfere with the windows, I 45'd it back in. This is a random piece of wall that is really having trouble with this turret. So getting that fixed, I had an issue with drywall going through this window. Turns out it was coming from this wall down in here. Chief Architect's solution was to turn a certain wall that's here invisible. When I did so, I ended up with siding inside the house. So I gotta figure that out. But when you see that, that's what's going on. Here's how you solve an issue that you're having. And they say it's because I have this little piece that comes out and this tapers all the way back. So you can see that on both sides. This side works fine. And so why it won't work on that side, I'm not sure. But this squares off and hits in a different depth than up here. So, excuse me. I do a lot of clearing my throat. But let me get that if I deselect that. So inside the house, what should you know? I guess for now, mess around, play with it. As far as things like I haven't changed the green color of the shelves to white. I'm sure the show went white. She may even want the pantry to be pure white or match the kitchen color. I haven't painted any other rooms in the house, so these are just plain drywall. Gas stove. We'll have to do a tour towards the end, but we're looking at a quad outlet, some Cat 6, and when you click on these, I don't know if you can. We'll see what happens. So I get this. I don't know if you will. But in object information, sometimes there's going to be comments on what's going on here. Let's check this one. Object information. It's not there. Oh my. Please don't tell me it went away. Well, and if it did, I wonder if it's because I had the electric layer off. So this guy definitely should have information because it's the wrong height, but the object should tell you. Oh, I made a note on these. At any rate, so the height to center is 36. He wants all these CO detectors to be only 36 inches off the floor. Makes sense. Now, where I do know I have notes because I just put them on there is in this bonus room. There are two outlets up in the ceiling. One should be able to carry the weight of a projector. So there we go. This box is strong enough to support a projector by homeowner. See homeowner for specifics of 110 volt in the vicinity of Cat 6 cabling, along with shielding requirements. This should show up without you having to go through and click on anything in the materials list. In fact, I know it'll show up there. So we appreciate your feedback of whether it really did or not, just to know. But I have options of clicking different things in here, but they're not all specific, and they all look just like this for electrical. So I can't say CO detector. These are my options to work with. And sometimes I have got a switch. Let's see, we are. Let's go into the kitchen. And sometimes I have a 3 gang. Well, that 3 gang, you'll have to see the object information. All switches may be decorative per homeowners instead of these because I didn't have a 3 gang decor. So 2 of these switches are to be wired 3-way and 1 is 4-way. So I cancel that and then we switch screens. Let me go back over to our layer sets. And you look at the version where I had the electrical on with the connections. Oops, I'm not in it. Oh. Electrical and connections. You will note that of these switches, I have 1 going to here, which covers all of the kitchen and dining. And yes, this is the way they want it. This elevation will go away in the final set, so I'm not going to worry about how it looks. This stairwell, if you notice things that you cannot read and you need me to do something like this, there's 2 things I can do with tiles such as that. So, oops, I'm opening it. So when I go, this is one of the things I can do. Textile, I switch it to custom. And then I go to scale and make it 1/2. It's counterintuitive, but that will make it half the size and 1/4 because it's to print at half, which means the text should be twice the size to match the 1/4 inch prints. So I can rotate it and I can move it and I can downsize it. If you need some clarity on anything and you need me to move some stuff, add some dimensions in the model, I can. I prefer to use the dimensions on the PDFs. The model's just ever changing at this point, and so This should just be a double gang, I believe now. Oh no, I need the third switch. I just haven't figured out. I have to connect it to electrical, so it's probably going to look. That's weird. What level am I on? On level one. Let's go up one. That is weird. Labels. Oh, that's why. No, it's not that. I need to go to my CAD stuff. So I have CAD, AutoCAD elect. Now, if I turn that on, you'll see this switch to level one. So that switch, that third switch that was down in the basement or down in the kitchen, needs to say switch to upstairs. Now, on its own for the chandelier, and right now I have it coming off this triple gang, so it'll be off this triple gang, needs that same node, switch to upstairs. And then I need some clarification from Josh, because he had this wired to the chandelier, so they both turn on at once, which means that this switch, this switch, this switch, and a switch upstairs all turn on. All of these, both these lights, the chandelier, and the light at the door. And I think that's what he wants. So, what sucks about this is you can't see that this, it just goes with the three gang. If I put in individual three switches, I could make the wire go to one, wire go to the other, wire go to the other. But then it looks funny in the model. So for proper specification of electrical, you will want to refer, once again, where are we? Here. You will want to refer to the E-sheets. Now, these are printed with them on the regular floor plan. On that one, looks like that's a misprint. So what you should see on the E-sheets, and these aren't printing right either, that it will really show up strong when it's printing correctly because I didn't set the line type right. Everything will be kind of a gray background, except the electrical will be full darkness and show up great. But here, I do everything as an individual switch because it's not a symbol or it's not a visual appearance deal. It's actually, I need to get it to go over. It's actually what switch goes to what. So this shows this separate from this, which was the way we had it. Now we've combined this into one light, that's into one light, and you turn on the whole kitchen and nook at the same time off one switch. So one of these switches goes away, becomes three. And so this is the older one, the PDF that's in there now. But I will get this updated so you guys see the real thing. But that is what we have for now. And then there's a landscape light up front. So refer to the AutoCAD once it's done for what switch goes to what. So this is one garage door opener, that's the other garage door opener, and so on. Yeah, see, this garage door opener doesn't go anywhere. It will go over this. So I use this little symbol to say it's going over it to that garage door opener from there. And that's just a button inside. So when you're looking at the 3D, you can, come on, thank you. I gotta find where I'm at. I'm outside and it's night. Where are the coyotes? So in here, you will see there's garage door buttons. I don't have a button symbol in chief. I probably could make one, but it's just not worth the time. So this is 220, and so it'll be hopefully in the list. So what I can do, and if you want one of these that's updated at any time, I need to go to, I always forget where this is, but here it is, I'm pretty sure. Materialist, got it. Okay, calculate materials for all floors. I can do it by floor. I can do it by room. So I'm not seeing the by floor though. That's weird. So let's just do the. I've never done it anyway, but just all floors at once anyway. But if you want it by floor, I can probably figure out how to do it. So this is what we're looking at. Material is all floors. Um, and so you'll have all this information. And when we get down to, and this is a linear length list, so your material. There's also a buy list, tell you what to buy, and then a cut list tells you how to cut it. And mixed reporting is just kind of for all the other materials, kind of separates them out a little bit differently. Um, Come on. So when we get to the final version, I need to get rid of things like a chair, because it's actually, I just tell it, don't pick up furniture, don't pick up accessories. Um, but there may be things that are real, and they have to tell me that. So far, I don't know the exact fixtures, but I've made some recommendations, so they'll show up, and these will show up as an Excel spreadsheet for you. I'm going to export this one so you can play with it a little bit and get used to it. But you can add in manufacturer's codes, extras, price, total cost, blah, blah, blah. And I believe that I can manipulate some of this too. So if you wanted markup as a column, I think I can do that. But if I can't, you certainly can do it in AutoCAD. Labor. I swear labor was in here too, but I'm not seeing it here. At any rate, I could probably change the way that works by going into my default settings and setting it up for that extra column. So there's certain columns that would be helpful. Please let me know. Just looking real quick, seeing what kind of options I have right here. What I was looking for though is some comments. And I'm not seeing any. It's almost like the electrical is not even showing. So let's figure out what's going on there. I had it turned on. It is on. And I just created this list. Oh, here we go. All right. So you should be able to do this. This would be nice to know. Can you do this in Excel so you can read the full note? If not in Excel, you should be able to click the cell and it'll give you the readout in the Excel window. Because this does actually act like a true Excel spreadsheet. So now that I've got this created, let's see. I'll have to figure out how to save it, and I'll save it out. So it will be PEC C8 master list all floors. Just look for that in that Dropbox, and like I said, give me a call with any questions, and please offer me a little feedback on what you guys are seeing compared to what I'm expecting to see. Thank you. I'll post the video and ship it out.